Gamers, it's Robo, and we're back with another episode of Robo Reviews. And on this episode of Robo Reviews, we're going to take a look at some tactical nylon medical goodness made by Canada's very own CTOMS. Check it out. So here you have it, all of the medical accessories that I actually currently use from CTOMS. For those of you who don't know who CTOMS are, they are Canada's premier tactical medical training company, as well as tactical medical equipment manufacturer. They basically are the ones who trained all of our Canadian Armed Forces, their updated TCCC or Tactical Trauma Care training, as well as law enforcement, private contracting, and now a little bit of private citizen training as well. Now I know some of the guys over at CTOMS, including my main tactical trauma care medical mentor being Whiskey Delta Golf, and they reached out to me to provide me some of these utensils so I could use them in my own medical training and medical deployment on the range, as well as to review some of these things to give them better exposure to some of my US counterparts. Now what I do have here in front of me is an example of a tourniquet pouch, as well as their Slimline IFAK in the horizontally mounted configuration, as well as a additional vertical mounted panel, as well as a limited run item called their Streamline. And just like always in all my reviews, I'll be going over all of these individually, giving them the pros, cons, how I've found them useful, or how I use them to deploy them in a day-to-day scenario. So with that being said, let's jump into them and take a look at them individually. So what we have here is a CTOMS tourniquet pouch, specifically designed, yes, to hold tourniquets, as denoted by the embroidered T. Now I just have mine mounted upside down for usage reasons, and I'll explain those in a second. The T is not upside down naturally. Now this is a Gen 1 pouch. They do have a Gen 2 of this out, and the only difference I can sort of see offhand is the Gen 2 has an integrated MOLLE strap back here, instead of needing a malice clip, or like what I use, a Whiskey 2.4 WTF strap. But that's essentially the only difference I can see. Now this is designed specifically to hold a SOFTT-W or a SOFTT wide tourniquet, but I have, with some refolding of a Cat 7 tourniquet, been able to fit in this as well, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. Again, we're looking at a tourniquet pouch here. It's pretty simple. It opens, it closes, right? It holds a tourniquet. But the thing that makes this one very special, and it's gonna be very minor in a lot of your guys' eyes, but in terms of deploying a tourniquet under stress, under duress, in a actual medical situation, there's a feature on here that makes this pouch absolutely kick ass in my opinion, and that is this little nylon tab. Believe it or not, this nylon tab actually is a strap that runs all the way down, through the bottom, and up the other side of the tourniquet. And the reason for that is ease of deployment. It is designed to be deployed with one hand. And what I mean by that is, all you need to do is actually pull this, and look at that. Tourniquet comes out. That is a very small feature, but understand, anybody who's actually had to deploy these in a stressful situation, I thankfully have not needed to deploy a tourniquet in a real medical situation. That ease of having the tourniquet come out in the shortest amount of time possible, without any trouble possible, in a lot of cases, from my research, talking to my buddies who actually are medical professionals, or again, even in a training scenario, could very well mean the difference between life and death. And the faster you can get a tourniquet on to stop that hemorrhage, the more chance somebody has to live. So that's a huge thing. Now, in terms of the actual construction of the pouch itself, this is going to be a reoccurring theme when I'm talking about all of these items from CTOMS. I have other medical devices. I've got other pouches from other companies, and they are all great. Do not get me wrong, they are all awesomely constructed. But when it comes to CTOMS, this is a company that is developed its products based on the usage of those products in a wartime scenario. And because of that, these things are constructed with a quality that I still have yet to duplicate in terms of other products that I've owned. All of the stitching, all the thread, all of the reinforcing is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. All of the loop is cross-stitched, multiple layers of thread. The thread is a heavy weight. These things are literally built to last. I have seen examples of these items from people who I know who have come back from deployments, who have used these on multiple deployments, and they look almost as good as new. They're dirty, dusty, and well used, but they're almost as functionally new as mine here. And to me, that fact is absolutely massive when in terms of tactical nylon. Honestly, CTOMS puts everything they have into making sure these items last as long as possible. Now, as a quick explanation of why I've got it upside down, that's just for ease of deployment, again, one-handed. If I had a disabled arm and I needed to deploy this as quick as possible with as much ease as possible with one arm, I want it to come down and not pop up. And again, that's just a personal choice, honestly. I could have very well mounted this the other way around. I just chose to have this one, which actually sits right beside my plate on the front side, sort of in my swimmer's triangle, I chose to actually have it mount upside down. Again, just a personal choice. Now, like I said, this pouch was primarily designed to fit a SOFTT wide made by Tactical Medical Solutions. With that being said, I have gotten a North American Rescue Cat 7 to fit in here, and I'll show you that right now. This is a North American Rescue Cat 7. Now, this isn't actually in its optimal folded pattern. I've folded it in a way that actually reduces it in size, and that is so I could actually fit it in this pouch like this. Like I said, how I've got mine set up and folded, it will actually fit in this pouch, just like it would a SOFTT wide. Again, the website doesn't actually state that this will fit, especially in the Gen 2s, where on the Gen 2, it actually states that it won't. And there might be something about the Gen 2 that actually makes that very, very true and specific. But in my case, I have gotten it to fit a Cat 7. Now, I personally still do pack a SOFTT wide in there, just because I do find it fits better. And it's just a personal choice of what tourniquet I want to carry where. Just as an example, though, if you do have a Gen 1, you can still at least get a Cat 7 to fit in there with some minor folding adjustments to the Cat 7. So guys, that pretty much takes care of the tourniquet pouch there. Like I said, it's a simple pouch, but in its simplicity, it does its job very, very, very well. So like I said, CTOMS tourniquet pouch, totally friggin' awesome. Now let's take a look at the Slimline. So this is the CTOMS Slimline IFAK. Now it's designed as a lower profile, vertical or horizontally mounted IFAK. Now I've got mine absolutely stocked to the absolute brim just because I've got a lot of stuff in here. I use it as an IFAK and a split treatment pouch for some situations. So it's a little bit thicker than it generally would be, but it is designed as a quick deployable, one-hand tearaway IFAK. Reinforced stitching where it needs reinforcement, as well as heavyweight threads and thought and consideration put into everything that has been put on here. So first and foremost, the quality is absolutely out of this world in terms of what you get with this item. Now, as I said, it does have the option to be mounted horizontally or with a vertical panel. As you see here, it can be mounted vertically. And that's just depending on how you need to place this on your kit. I currently have it on a belt, so horizontal makes sense. Maybe you want to put it on your rig, then maybe vertical makes sense, or maybe still horizontal makes sense, or vertical makes sense in your belt. It really depends on your specific preference and kit setup, obviously. So some of the things to kind of cover on the outside of this utensil. So first of all, on the exterior, is the tourniquet pouch. Now this is a covered or protected tourniquet pouch. I know in a lot of cool guy photos and in some other medical devices, the tourniquet is actually carried open, and that is absolutely fine if you're some SOF guy who literally throws these tourniquets away like Band-Aids. But when you're not one of those guys, when you have to buy these tourniquets with your own money and you need them to work when an emergency strikes, things like exposure to the elements, the environment, sand, sunlight, which is UV light obviously, they can actually damage tourniquets terribly. And you do not want one of these things breaking when you're relying on them to create tension or pressure around an extremity. So while it may look really cool to have a tourniquet, say, elastic to your plate carrier shoulder pads, or have it hanging underneath your placard in the open, that sort of thing, for us regular civilians who got to buy these things on our own and we require these to work when they unfortunately are needed to be used, having them covered is absolutely necessary. This keeps the tourniquet on the outside of the pouch for ease of access. It means I don't have to go into the pouch itself to get it, but it is still mainly protected from things like sand and sunlight. So that's pretty huge. Obviously on the flap of the tourniquet pouch is an embroidered medical cross, just to denote that this is a medical pouch. And again, it holds a Cat 7 or SOFTT-W or SOFTT wide tourniquet in there, and it holds it in there safe and secure. Obviously has some drainage holes in the bottom there, just in case you do get sand or water in there. You don't want that sitting in the bottom of the pouch. That's pretty status quo when it comes to pouches though, or at least reputable pouches in the tactical nylon world. Now on both sides of the pouch, there are additional spaces where you can attach things like rescue hooks, shears, other tourniquets if you do need to put other tourniquets on the outside here. Yes, that sort of breaks the rules of exposure. It just means that I'm not going to do it, but some real world ass kicker, medical guy might actually need to put more tourniquets on there, and I'm not going to tell him how to do that job. Now the big thing with this is, Like I'd said originally, this is designed for one-handed deployment, and it is tearaway. Now how this is attached is via Velcro on the back to the panel, much like on this vertical panel here, see a bunch of loops. It's the same on this horizontal panel. That is then secured with this quick release buckle. Some of you guys are gonna be looking at these beads going, what are those beads, Rob? What are those beads? This is actually an idea that comes from diving, where water is often dark and or murky or dirty. So divers rely on tactile things to know where their equipment is. And that's exactly what this is. These are diving beads. And it's a tactile device to allow you to reach back with one hand, feel what you need to feel, and in order to get this pouch off is to actually pull with one motion, pull it off the actual rig. By pulling these beads, it disengages the buckle automatically and rips off the pouch. Now the pouch on the other side is actually secured with this piece of plastic. Again, it's designed to work in one smooth gross motor reflex motion. If you're hurt or someone else you know is hurt and the adrenaline's flowing through your body or your body is again reacting to that injury stress, it's going to be gross motor movements that are going to win the day. It's just what your body reverts to. So from there you've got a detached IFAK ready to be used. So let's open it up and take a look at what makes the CTOMS Slimline special on the inside. These are a number 10 coil zipper with basically quiet pulls. They've kind of got these leather or faux leather kind of tips on them. And you might be asking yourself, hey Robo, what's this red little pull thing? It's meant to make it very quick to open, and all it is that you pull the tab and it pulls the zippers down for you. Obviously, yeah, if you had the ability to use both your hands, you could just pull those zippers down. This is designed to do that for you though, under the pretense that if you're under duress, if you're actually injured and maybe you only have use of one hand, this will work as one big gross motor movement solution. Now inside the IFAK you have two sides for all of your organizational needs. What you're going to notice primarily right away is something called the CTOMS MARS interface, or the modular adjustable retention system. And that's the sort of netting sort of setup in here, along with the shock cord and the cord retention clips. And all this lets you do is actually set up the inside to retain the items you need to retain how you want to retain them. If you need to have more spots, well, change out how the shock cord is weaved into those sections, and there you go. You've got a different number of slots, no problem. So that's basically what the MARS system is. Now in my case, it's also allowed me a spot to tie some of my own 550 cord in there to retain some medical tape. And I've got mine set up so it's one side is for hemorrhages and one side is for airway. So what I have here is obviously you've got the MARS in front here, and then you've got a pouch in the back. In the back pouch, I've just chosen to carry things like hemostatic gauze as well as regular gauze. I've got a pair of shears in here, which are really an extra addition to an IFAK, but again, like I said, I'm carrying this more of a treatment pouch slash IFAK right now. I do have a trauma dressing here, or a pressor bandage. On the other side for airway, I've got an NPA tube, as well as some chest seals, some Halo chest seals in there. So it's, again, a simple solution to carrying medical equipment, but that's the point. Efficiency is key. Being able to get it off you, open it, use it, deploy it as quickly and as organized as possible to allow the patient as much time as possible to survive, especially if that patient is you, is absolutely paramount. It's got extremely well thought out features that I can only imagine have come from years and years and years now of deployments to dangerous places in the world, and a lot of that feedback from real world soldiers going right back into these items to be taken right back into deployments with them. So just huge thumbs up. It's just really well thought out. And it's, again, got all the space I need to carry the things I currently need to carry when I do my range work. So there you have it, the CTOMS Slimline IFAK. Let's get to the Streamline. So next is the CTOMS Streamline treatment pouch. Now, unlike the other two items I've shown you so far, this is actually one that currently, as of me filming this in January 2017, isn't available on their website. Now, it's because this was a limited run item, and I just so happened to get my hands on one. Now, just like the other items, again, the quality and thought that has been put into this item just goes to show how much CTOMS thinks about its real operational use, and just reinforces how much actual real world experience goes into the design and feedback of these items. CTOMS equipment is well known in the operational community, and while I will never probably push these items till their actual operational limit, I'm just a civilian. I don't think I'm going to tear these up riding in helicopters or sitting in a desert for weeks on end. What it does mean though, because these things will last for operational guys, it means they'll last for me 150%, and they'll last for you. So with all that said, Streamline, it's a treatment pouch. It's designed to carry as much or more medical equipment than you can carry in, say, a standard IFAK, because it's meant to treat other people. So first and foremost, on the front here, 2 tourniquet pouches. You can never have too many tourniquets. I mean, I guess if you have them in every single pocket, it's a little overboard. But in terms of usage by an actual medic, you can never really have too many tourniquets. On the front here, you do have 2. It will fit both the Tactical Medical Solutions SOFTT-W wide as well as the North American Rescue Cat 7. Now, just like the Slimline, it does have extra sections on both sides for extra retention of things like rescue hooks, medical shears, an ability to attach extra tourniquets, things like that. It does have a massive pouch on the top, which you can pull open with this nylon tab to reveal the medical contents within. And it also has a rear-facing pouch for smaller items. Now, as you can see on the back, you just have a standard nylon PALS or MOLLE setup. For attachment, you can use a big malice clip, but I was actually sent some Whiskey 24 WTF straps. I absolutely love these things. It's a laser cut Hypalon solution to lower weight and make it really easy to weave this stuff through. But again, however you want to mount this, up to you. Now back to this big medical pouch. It is basically that. It's just a giant open pouch. It's designed to carry as much stuff as possible. Now off to the side here, there's sort of a side administrational area. It's designed probably for things like Sharpies, pens, and whatnot. I've got my NPA stuck in there, and I'll show you that in a second. But what I have in here is literally 2 packages of gauze, 2 trauma dressings, my halo seals, a rescue blanket, and my NPA tube. All of that fits in here. In terms of treating other people, this at least allows me to carry as much of it as humanly possible while still maintaining a streamlined sort of profile, which means you can carry this on, say, your cummerbund and not have it in the way. And for someone like me who isn't really a medical professional that does this every day, it allows me to actually carry enough stuff for my use. CTOMS Streamline treatment pouch, excellent utility for those who need to carry a bit of extra treatment gear for treating others in the field. Now that pretty much takes care of all the items that I have and use from CTOMS, guys. By no means is this the exhaustive list of what CTOMS makes. They make an absolute ton of stuff. And obviously you can find all that on their website, which is ctoms.ca. And I, of course, will link all of that in the description below as per usual. Now some quick housekeeping to take care of all of these items that I've shown you. Getting it out of the way first and foremost, I do not have a price for you for the Streamline. Like I said, it's not available right now. It was a limited run item and CTOMS sent it to me as a gratuity. Now the tourniquet pouches, at least the Gen 2, are $19.99. CTOMS is a Canadian company. That is in Canadian schmeckles. So for you Americans, that is going to be a little bit less, about 30% less the last time I checked with the bank. Now don't quote me on that one. So again, that's $19.99 or 20 Canadian dollars. The Slimline, which is just the pouch and 1 mounting option, is $59.99. Now again, if you need a different mounting option, such as this vertical one, so you've got an extra mounting option for your Slimline pouch. An extra one of these is $29.99. Now in terms of the actual medical equipment, none of that comes with these items. When I quote prices, I'm talking about just the pouch accessory itself. All of the medical devices you've seen in this equipment is all of my own, procured by me. And as a quick additional note to that, again, I just urge you to follow any importation or medical laws that surrounds that, depending on which nation you do currently reside in. So other than that, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this look into my CTOMS utilities. Like I said, you can find all of these except the Streamline, caveat, on the CTOMS site at ctoms.ca. I've got that linked in the description below. As a recap though, the quality, engineering, and experience that goes into these items is very, very, very noticeable and very well appreciated. So big thumbs up to CTOMS for making really quality items. And other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks, guys. So there you have it. That pretty much takes care of another episode of Robo Reviews. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Coming down the pipes next in terms of gameplay, I have a ton of gameplay still to come from Copperhead, Op34, and Faded Giant 5. I hope to get a couple more gameplay videos out this week before SHOT Show. Now in terms of reviews, I still have a ton of stuff sitting on my desk waiting to be reviewed for you, including my brand new Esstac Daeodon plate carrier, my ASG CZ Bren, and my Krytac LVOA. So a ton of stuff still coming down the tubes for you guys to enjoy very shortly. Now as always, I do want to take a quick second to thank my foremost awesome sponsors, being Enola Gay Tactical Smoke Grenades, Red Wolf Airsoft, Coyote Tactical Solutions, and Virtus Outdoor Group. Now these 4 companies provide me support in such a way that allows me to do more airsoft, but more importantly bring you guys more gameplay, more reviews, and more philosophies to learn from and enjoy. So if you could do me a huge favor, and that is visit the websites that I've got linked in the description below. Thanks. Now whether you did or you didn't like this video, this guy still wants to know about it. Drop me a line in the comments below. I love the feedback and the conversation, and if you could do me a huge solid, and that is like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Keeps me happy in this YouTube game, and until next time, guys, keep having fun playing Airsoft, being good community members, and defend what you love. Later, guys.